I'd like to welcome you all. We have several cameras and 7 different platforms that we're on every day. Okay, 7 at 7 worldwide on many different platforms. So we'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Sarah. Good morning. So, Nguyen, hey, there we go. Good morning. So, what is limiting speech? Okay, limiting speech is the things that you say, number one, okay, things that you say that go into your subconscious that hold you back subconsciously, okay? So this is below the surface, subconsciously. So it's not conscious. Good morning, Jay. It's not conscious. You don't even know that it's going on. Why? Well, because it happens beneath the surface, okay? So uh, this is, something that a lot of people don't really take into consideration, okay? And the reason why is because maybe they don't know, or maybe they haven't been exposed to someone that has this information, or maybe they're aware, they just are too lazy to change it because they think, it's no big deal, right? Wrong. Okay, it is a big deal because it'll help a lot. Okay, so first of all, there's 2 different kinds of limiting speech. Okay, so there's the limiting speech that we speak out loud, and there's negative self talk. Okay, so negative self talk is the stuff we tell ourselves about ourselves that maybe is not true, or maybe it's just harsh because we observe ourselves. Okay, so this is the thing that people really need to be aware of, that you are awareness. You are awareness. This is what we all have in common. You're aware, I'm aware, your neighbor is aware, your children are aware. Okay, human beings are aware. Now, animals don't have this awareness. Okay, animals are not able to observe themselves. Human beings can observe themselves. And because we're able to observe ourselves, we're able to critique ourselves. We have an opinion of ourselves. And 9 times out of 10, right, we're our own worst critic, right? Right. So what do? Well, we pass judgment on ourselves. So negative self-talk, right? You know, when you tell yourself, I'm terrible at finishing things. I'm terrible at completing things. I start things, I never finish things. Negative self-talk is a thought. You're not necessarily speaking this out loud. Okay? Sometimes you do, right? To your friends. You go, I'm really bad at finishing things. I started stuff, but I start, but then I don't finish. That kind of thing. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to reverse this. Okay. If your negative self talk, for example, is I'm terrible at finishing things, okay, all you have to do is change the language. I'm learning how to follow through more consistently. Okay. I'm learning how to follow through more consistently. To me, good morning. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you? So, you know, so you take the other end of things. So remember, there's always positive and negative. If you look at the positive side, okay, so I'm terrible at finishing things becomes I'm learning how to follow through more consistently, because you take the other side. Okay. Now, what about negative framing? Okay, it's another thing. Negative framing is a thing. Remember how I always say reframe, refocus? Okay, so you reframe things the way you say it, the way you think it. People think that if they think negative thoughts, it's not registering in the subconscious. That's not true. Your subconscious is your book of life. It's like your eyes, your ears, right? Touch, everything. All of your senses are being recorded. Okay, you know those surveillance cameras you see now, right? And everything's on a hard drive somewhere, right? And then it's outside that business, 24 hours a day. It's being recorded 24 hours a day. And then when people come and check it, they can see if somebody was tampering with the business or trying to break in or whatever, right? Okay, think of your subconscious like that. Think of your subconscious like that, because what's happening is your subconscious is just recording everything. It's your book of life. Okay, it's your book of life. Now, I relate a lot of things to the Bible. I'm not here pushing Christianity or, you know, saying it's right or wrong or whatever, but when they talk about the book of life and your review, they say a review happens when you die. Okay? If the review happens, it's coming from your subconscious. There's no mystical book of life up in the sky somewhere with everything written on it. It doesn't work like that. Okay? It's astonishing how we don't realize unconscious how damaging this is for us. Yeah. Yeah. So we've been trained like this. So first of all, let's go back to negativity bias, because we talk about this all the time. So we're born with negativity bias. We're born to look for the bad things first. Okay? We're engineered that way. Why? It's a survival technique. The species has to survive. The species has to evolve. So we identify threats. So negativity bias is the first thing. Okay, now in women, right, they have to raise young. Women give birth to babies. They become mama bears and they need to protect the babies. So in interest of the species in general, that negativity bias that we're all born with intensifies. Why? Because she has to protect babies. And this is why women are always in turmoil. They always have to sort things out emotionally. They're emotional beings because they nurture young. Okay? I was pointing out to Jay, I sent her a video of this lady and I didn't know who she was. But she was so masculine, like operating in her masculine, right? And this is very unhealthy for women. Very unhealthy. But you could tell that this lady was looking for threats, not only to, she was way past the childbearing age, right? She was in like her late 40s, early 50s, probably early 50s. And you can tell that she's been operating in her masculine her whole life. You can tell by the creases in her face that she was angry a lot. Okay, emotional a lot. Okay, and what happens when women go through this, right, is they get burnt out. Why? Because they really want to just be women. They just really want to be those nurturing types. They really want to be at peace and safe and have a man that operates in his masculine so that she can just be safe and feminine and gentle and ladylike or whatever. And I'm not trying to be chauvinistic or anything. I'm not trying to say that a woman's place is in the home or whatever. I'm just saying natural gender roles. Natural gender roles. But women become very masculine. Why? Negativity bias, okay? And then, right, negative framing happens as a result of negativity bias. And then because of biology, because she has to protect babies, there's a heightened sense of awareness. What does that mean? That means everything is amplified. Women think better than we do. They have a bigger frontal lobe, okay? They have a better processor, put it that way. If you want to compare it to computers, women have better processors than men, okay? Men have that, like this, and they can think down this narrow hallway, and they can think of one thing real good, okay? Women can think of several things real good. But this is because she bears young. Okay, and the only reason why women have this problem, and we center them all the time with their voice. So if you look on our online, if you Google Here For You Life Coaching, you'll see tons of women's reviews. They're all 5-star, every single one, men and women. They're 5-star. I don't mean to flex about it, but it is a flex. I can't help it. It's a flex. But it's all 5-star reviews. And that's because we work with the voice and we center people. Okay. In fact, one of our people from our lives actually joined as one of my clients. I'm not here to sell you stuff, okay? This is not a sales pitch. I'm not here to sell you anything. If you want to inquire, you inquire, okay? But this is not a try to get you to sign up thing. There's no sales pitch at the end of this, okay? But one of these ladies that signed on with me did the vocalization practice for the first time. In 1 hour, we do it a couple of times. And at the end of that, she goes, wow, I feel the difference. Now, it depends on the individual. Some people get it like the first time, they feel it a lot. And some people it takes like, 2 or 3 sessions. So I always say 3 sessions. She felt it in the first session. She felt more grounded. But the reason why women are so emotional, okay? So first of all, negativity bias in both men and women for evolutionary purposes, okay, to evolve. Secondly, they're mama bears, okay? So their heightened sense of awareness is at play with everything, okay? Her emotions, okay, her thinking, okay? And she can multitask, so it's not just one thought, it's like 2 or 3 at one time, because she can jump tracks like this. She can jump tracks back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, if you have 2 or 3 negative thoughts going on, what happens? Overwhelm. What happens to her emotions? Yeah, right? They need to be purged. Why? Well, because they're coming at her like this, okay? I can't tell you how many women, when I meet them, they go, oh, my husband thinks I'm crazy. They're not crazy. They're not crazy, okay? But they have to purge. Why? Because overload, sensory overload, thought overload, negativity overload, okay? It gets complicated. And then what? Well, then they have to purge. Then they have to cry. And when they cry, what happens? Nothing like a good cry, right, ladies? Nothing like a good cry. Yes, it is beautiful experience. It is. And then what happens? Then they're all good, right? So this vocalization exercise of the affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization does the same thing a good cry does, but it lasts and it clears. Why? Because the neurotransmitters elevate the serotonin levels. Okay, it activates oxytocin, the bonding hormone, okay, and endorphins. And what does that do? Ooh, that centers the brain really quick. So it creates this chemical soup in your brain. And the ladies just kind of level out. And now they're restored to their feminine energy. Why? Because that's their default. So negative framing becomes a thing as well with women, right? Okay. So negative framing. Thank you for expressing the emotions of a woman. You're welcome. You're welcome. So many men don't know this. I mean, I'm not going to turn this into a relationship kind of thing, but I deal with a lot of relationships. Men do not understand women. Hey, Darlene, long time no see. How are you? Men do not understand women. Most men do not understand the complexities of women, okay? And rather than attempt to learn womanese, okay, the way women speak, okay, or chick speak as it's called, right, in some circles, okay, but they don't even want to learn, okay. And there's a song out there called One Beer, okay, One Beer, how everything started with one beer, okay. So they met, right, they had one beer, and then pretty soon they're going with each other, and then pretty soon they're getting married, pretty soon they have kids, right, and it all started with one beer. That's the way most relationships start. Men don't go and study, females, right, and then have a relationship. They just go to the bar, go to the club, whatever. Oh yeah, we're gonna meet women tonight. Okay. And it kind of goes, like a rudderless boat. It goes like this. Okay. For a while, it goes the man's way, right? The honeymoon period, and then pretty soon it starts drifting more. It starts going more like that, right? So the negative, okay, getting back to what we're talking about, negative framing, okay, negative framing. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Nice to see you, Toomey. So negative framing, right? Instead of, and this is This is in your head, negative framing. Okay, negative self-talk, right? We went over that. Negative framing, this is going to be hard and probably won't work. Okay, pessimism. Okay, what's the positive side of that? Well, this will stretch me and I'm capable of figuring it out. This is going to be a challenge. So change, use the word challenge instead of problem. This is a problem. Oh, this is my problem. Women come to me all the time. They go, this is my problem. I have a problem with this. Okay, because to her it is a problem. Okay? And I don't dismiss people, men or women, right? But I go, okay, no, it's not a problem. It's a challenge. Okay? So if something is a stretch, right? We use that word, and that term is okay. A stretch is different. It's not a problem. It's not a complexity. It's not a, right? It's not a burden, okay? Your words carry power. Your words have vibration. Your words carry definitions. They carry meaning. So choose your words wisely, because that definition, or let's say it another way, how you understand the word, okay? How you understand the word goes into your subconscious. What does it do? It affects your personality, because all of a sudden you start receding from things. You start feeling bad about stuff. You're less social, right? Humans are social creatures. You're less social. You keep to yourself more. You don't talk as much at parties. Why? Well, because you've been saying all this negative stuff. It goes into your subconscious, and now you're not feeling good. This is why when people go to church on Sunday, okay, and I'm not pushing church, I'm just saying, people go to church on Sunday, they pray, they get it all out, they feel renewed, and Monday they're good to go, okay? Because the burdens have been lifted through prayer. Same thing happens with meditation, same, okay? Prayer, meditation. This church I was raised up in when I was a kid had confessions. Okay, and you would go to the priest and you would tell him all the stuff you did wrong. Sometimes I went to the priest as a kid. I didn't even know what I did wrong, so I used to make stuff up. Okay, but when you come out and you get the, okay, do this prayer and whatever like that, and then you do the prayer and whoa, I feel good after that. Okay. So pessimistic language is nothing ever works out for me. It doesn't work. Change it. These things often work out when I stay engaged and open. Change it. Everything has two sides. Cling to the positive side. Why is this important? Well, let's say, for example, nothing ever works out for me is in your subconscious. Maybe you always say that. I actually had an uncle. He was just a good friend of the family, but he had a tattoo on his arm that said, "Born to lose." He believed that so much, he tattooed it on his arm. Okay? I see young people tattoo all kinds of stuff on them. Some of them are positive phrases, some of them are inspirational, those little inspirational things that girls put on their, arm and stuff like that. Yeah, they're positive, okay? Some of them are positive. Some of them contain negative words. Understand that when you use a negative word, God does not acknowledge negatives, okay? Your subconscious does not acknowledge negative words. Words like not, okay? I will not smoke anymore becomes I will smoke anymore. And what does that do? I will smoke. There you go. So you keep smoking. It doesn't work. Now, what's a good affirmation for that? Okay, if you want to quit smoking, write down, where's the pen? Where's my pen? There's my pen. Okay, so write down, it feels good to breathe clean air. Thank you. That's it. There you go. Problem solved. You don't even have to put smoke in there. Because why? Clean air is the opposite of smoking. Okay? Write your affirmations to the opposite and don't use any negatives. That's the hack, if you will. Okay, now some people catastrophize. Whoa, big word. What is that? Okay, Lucy, you're so stuck. How come, Lucy? Tell me what's wrong. I'll help. Tell me why, Lucy. So, okay, catastrophizing. The root word is catastrophe. Okay? Okay. If I mess this up, everything is ruined. Right? Or I ruin everything. Every time I'm, whatever, right? Every time I do something, it always ends up in a mess, in a failure. Everything gets ruined. Catastrophizing. It's a thing. Okay. One mistake is feedback, not a failure. Okay, Lucy. Let's talk to Lucy here. I am so anxious and depressed. I am on my own at home tonight, and I can't get rid of it. Okay, your mind is attacking you, Lucy. That's all. Okay, your mind is attacking you. When you get a negative thought, say stop and focus on something positive. Okay, so here I have this is my phone. Okay, and on my phone I have a screensaver of a lock screen image, and this is an image of my family of service companies. And the reason I have it on here right now is my focus is business. Sometimes I change it, okay? But the reason I'm showing this to you is so that you're crying right now. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. You're just getting a little overwhelmed. That's all. Too many thoughts, too many negative thoughts. I'll explain that, okay? I'll go over that. So just put something you love here, okay? That goes for everybody, okay? All you guys, I have several cameras here, okay? So this could be your dog, this could be your cat, this could be your children, this could be things you love. It could be a picture of the vacation you want to take, okay, whatever it is. And then when you get the negative thought, just say stop. Say it out loud, stop, and then pick up your phone and look at the lock screen, okay? Because you need to redirect your thoughts. Okay, you're anxious and depressed. I'm on my own at home tonight. Okay, so Lucy, okay, cry, get it out. Okay, cry. It's okay to cry. Okay, just get it out. You'll feel better after the cry. Okay, but as you're crying, listen to this. Okay, listen to this. When you have a negative thought, and I'll say this for everybody, okay? When you have a negative thought, you have 6 seconds to dismiss the thought. 6 seconds to say stop. 6 seconds to change your thought. Or your amygdala, okay? You know, the commonly known as the fight or flight response. Okay, because why? It's the negativity bias thing, right? Because it identifies threats. And the amygdala will start working, okay? Nice to me. I'm glad you gave her hugs. Yeah, give Lucy hugs, everybody. Give her hugs. Send her hugs. Okay, so the amygdala will start giving you all these variations on a theme of what ifs, the what ifs. And all the what ifs will be rooted in negativity. Okay? What if this? What if this does this? What if this? What if that? What if that? And all the what ifs will be negative. Because the subject matter is negative. Because the topic is negative. Okay? So if the topic is negative, all the what ifs will be negative. If the topic is positive, okay, then yeah, you can have a bunch of positive thoughts as well. Okay, so whatever it is, right? 6 seconds in, don't you get ideas? You get ideas. Okay, those ideas are coming from the superconscious. And the amygdala sets it off. It's a natural response. It's how we respond as human beings. But if you have a negative thought, a fearful thought, the fight or flight starts going. And what happens to your heart? It starts going a little bit more, right? Remember I told you your heart carries the biggest vibration? Okay, but now you're vibrating in fear. Now you're vibrating in negativity. Now your heart's going like this because you're scared. Because what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And then, guess what happens? The monster gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you get overwhelmed. And then, Lucy, you cry. This is why you're crying. Okay? Things are just, you're just getting all these what ifs, and they're negative. That's all. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Darlene, thank you, Darlene. Send her hugs. Send her hugs. Send her a hug, Sarah. They won't go away. Okay. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to say this out loud. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now, the other thing that works, Lucy, in this scenario, okay, or in this type of occurrence, is gratitude makes it stop. Say thank you in your head. Now, it may not stop immediately, but it will get better. Okay, it took a while for you to get like this. It's going to take a little while for you to undo this, but say thank you. But write this down. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Jay, can you please write that for Lucy and send it to her? This is Hawaiian ho'oponopono. Okay, and this is actually a Hawaiian practice, and you can look this up online, and Jay can put it in the chat for you guys. Okay. Oh, thank you for sending hugs to Lucy. Yeah, send Lucy hugs. So anyway, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you is a clearing. It's a clearing. It's between you and your creator, whoever you believe that to be. If it's Jesus, if it's Allah, if it's whoever it is. Okay? Father God. I say Father God because it's the Father. When I was young, there was the Father, and then there was the Son. Okay, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And the Father is the Father, so I go directly to the Father. Okay, now in the Bible, okay, and this is esoteric knowledge. It's not like Sunday school knowledge, okay, but in the Bible, when Jesus says, no one goes to the Father but through me, he's talking about the Christ. He's talking about the Christ within. Okay, and in other chapters and other places, he describes what it is and how you do it. Okay, but there's a process in here that you go through to get to the Father. And that's what Jesus was talking about. Okay, but now Jesus has been elevated to God somehow. And, because of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and they're all one, and it goes on and on. I'm not here to preach Sunday school or anything, or esoteric knowledge. I'll give you a little bit of it, but if you're not familiar, then it's kind of hard to digest all at once. But Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, okay? And there's a reason why it's the right, okay? When he says cast your net to the right side, it's the right hemisphere of the brain. That's what they're talking about, okay? So, yeah, I'm sorry, please. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Toomey. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, for being so supportive. We need to be supportive of each other on the lives. Okay, so limiting language, okay? I'm going to give you examples of this. Okay, limiting language. I don't have the time, energy, or discipline for this. Okay, that's a limitation. What's the opposite? I'm prioritizing my time and building discipline step by step. Okay, now I don't even like to use the word discipline, only because whenever you say the word discipline, people go, oh, that's a lot of work. Oh, discipline, ew, yuck, right? They think military, they think all kinds of stuff, right? But discipline just means that you're going to do these things as a habit. How do you build habits? In the subconscious. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Does it take long to develop a good habit? No. Does it take long to develop a bad habit? No. Okay, let me give you an example of how fast you can get a bad habit, and it's the same amount of time for a good habit, okay? You go to a party because you're a human, okay? Because of your highly intelligent nature, okay? I'm not talking about education, I'm talking about intelligence, different, okay? Education is conditioning for a specific trade or job or, you know, accumulation of knowledge, man-made knowledge. Okay, so you go to the party, you go, oh, can I have a cookie? And they go, oh, yeah, okay, help yourself over there. And you have a cookie, right? Pretty soon it's like, oh, that's a good cookie. Like, can I have another cookie? Yeah, help yourself. Okay, you help yourself. Have another cookie. Wow, this is a really good cookie, right? You start guessing what the ingredients are or whatever, right? Pretty soon you go, hey, where did you guys get these cookies? And they go, oh, Costco. In a couple of days, after some thoughts become things, you're standing in line in Costco with that bag of cookies, with those cookies. And now you've got a cookie habit. Thoughts become things. Okay, now, can you in a week, can you develop a good habit? Oh yeah, it's called a routine, right? Routine. Wash, rinse, repeat. Routine, like shampooing your hair. Okay, if you know how to shampoo your hair, follow the instructions on the bottom. Wash, rinse, repeat. Once you repeat a process, okay, even for a week, 2 weeks, you will feel a shift in 2 weeks, okay? But even then, in a week, as you repeat it, it becomes easier. Why? Because you've memorized it. Your subconscious becomes trainable and in agreement when you keep repeating. Okay? So it's like, you know, I recently developed a new workout routine, and I put it in my Facebook stories on my personal Facebook page. Okay, I don't like to say those things because the algorithm on different platforms starts to limit us. But anyway, if you Jay, you can give people that address, and if you want to go check it out. Okay, so I do this routine, and it only took me like 4 days to get the routine down. Okay, but I had to think about it first. So plan your routine here first. Okay, think about it. Okay, write it down. In other words, if it's a schedule, like let's say you're gonna work out, you're gonna whatever in the morning, your morning routine. Okay, first get up, then brush your teeth, then whatever. Okay, write it down. Not because you're stupid. You're gonna write it down because when you write, it goes right into your subconscious. Okay, you're highly intelligent. You're more intelligent than you know. And then when you write it down, okay, put it in your calendar. Okay, so I have this in my calendar. Let me show you. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, it looks kind of involved. Okay, so here I have notes up here, and one of these notes says, wake up, meditate. Okay, and then it says Starbucks down here, and it says workout over here, and then workout, and then Starbucks, and then live right here. We're doing the live. Okay, but these things are all in order in my calendar every day. Alerts go off every day. Why? Because I'm forgetting the routine? No, because every time you see the live, every time you see the reminder, guess what? It's training your subconscious. So let me show you what else is subconscious training. All right, so this is not difficult. This is not hard to do, guys. Okay, here. Look, this is the one I'm working on now. Okay, these are affirmations. Okay, and you put the date next to it and stuff like that. This is the one I'm done with. Okay, here. This is not journaling. These are affirmations. Okay, these are affirmations telling your subconscious whatever it is you want it to do. Okay, so let's say you want something. Let's say you want a new car. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a new car, or whatever. Be specific. Okay, new car could be any brand, any model, anything. Okay, a brand new, whatever, red BMW convertible. Thank you. And if you have the model number, put the model number, and then thank you. And then what happens? Your subconscious, as soon as it believes it, okay, so you got to write it down first thing in the morning when your brain is in theta state. Okay, that's when you write it. And then you have to read it out loud. Same thing when you're in theta state in the evening before you turn the light off to go to bed. The last thing you do is pick up your tablet, speak it out loud. What does that do to your subconscious? It makes it think about it all night long. And pretty soon, in 2 weeks, you feel the shift. What does your subconscious do? Does it make it appear in the driveway like Aladdin's lamp? No, not at all. The subconscious looks for confirmation of this. And the subconscious tries to figure out, okay, what can you do? Well, maybe you can get a loan for this new car. Maybe you can test drive the new car. Maybe you can go down to the dealership and actually see how much it really costs, or if you can get a deal, whatever. It's not, manifestation is not magic, okay? It's not witchcraft. I mean, if you're a witch, okay, go do your spell, throw the whatever, herbs, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a witch. I don't do those things. Okay, but if that makes you feel better, okay, go do the ceremony, do the dance, draw the star on the floor, do all that, whatever, circle, whatever, okay? Do that. I'm not saying it's wrong. If that's your thing, do your thing, but just know that it's really your subconscious, okay? Okay, if you believe that, there's this magic mouse, okay, and this mouse is gonna bring you the car, okay? So you rub the mouse, you say the prayer in the mouse, and you know, okay? But it's actually your subconscious. So you can use the magic mouse, okay? You can use a magic stone. You can use a magic pen and write with your magic pen, and you go, well, I know this magic pen is gonna bring me the car, and okay? It just goes in your subconscious. Okay, I know I'm trying to be funny with this stuff, okay? But I don't want to be boring. But it's you. It's your subconscious. God made you this way. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. Okay? And here's something else you might want to take into consideration. Only 29% of the world is Christian. Only 29%. For you non-Christians, let that sink in. Only 29%. What does that mean? Only 29% of created humans go to heaven. Everyone else gets cast into the lake of fire, right? Please. That's insane. Okay? Wrong. Okay? Because that would mean that the creator of all that is has a very bad average and is a very bad creator because, well, everybody else, right? Okay? It doesn't work that way. It works in here with your choices. It works in here with your actions. Your actions get results. Let's take a look at the okay, let's take let me Jay, you can pin the comments for me if there's comments. Okay, so let's take a look at the subconscious tree and see how that works, okay? So your subconscious beliefs are the roots of the tree, your core beliefs, what you believe to be true about anything and about everything. Because you're not going to understand your core beliefs until something happens, and then you're going to pass judgment. And then you're going to know, and you're going to go, oh, that's how I believe about that. Oh, that's how I feel about that. Because otherwise you're not thinking of it, right? Okay. And your subconscious contains like tons and tons of memory. Everything you've ever done is in your subconscious. If you really want to know what happened when you were 10 years old, when you were 15 years old, when you were 5 years old, sit down and ask your subconscious, what did I do when I was 5? Or what happened in my life that made me do XYZ, whatever. What made me fear swimming? What made me fear whatever, okay? And then it'll take you back and it'll go, here, this is what it was. Okay, so one day you may be in the shower. Showers are good because water conducts electricity and you're an electromagnet, okay? Showers are good. When you're in the shower, you ever get good ideas? You ever get excited when you turn on the water? When the water hits you, you ever get excited? Okay, that's why. Okay, so it might hit you in the shower. You might be driving one day, maybe 4 or 5 days after you ask the question. Boom, it'll hit you. And you go, oh, yeah, I was wondering about that. You see? You are a marvelous creation. The Creator created you with all of these capabilities. Okay, and when I discovered these things and I started putting them into practice, everything went boom, 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 boom. Okay? And you can do it too, okay? I'm not here trying to sell you anything. I'm here trying to give you. Is that how you change your paradigm, junior routine? Yeah. Yeah, so do it with a calendar, because if you have a phone, right? You're texting me on a phone, messaging me. So do it with your phone. Plan it out, and give yourself time blocks to work with. So if you're checking email, give yourself a half an hour to check email. Plan your day accordingly, and then you will get your alerts, and the alerts will keep you focused every day. And you'll get alerts, and you'll get it pretty soon. You'll memorize everything, okay? Because you're a human being, because you're super, super, super intelligent. Okay, so anyway, but those things happen. Okay, so if you want to ask a question about your past, you have a record of it. Okay, just ask, believe, receive. How do you ask? You go in here, you close your distractor so you don't get distracted like this, and you ask, who do you believe in? If you believe in Jesus, ask Jesus. If you believe in Allah, ask Allah. If you believe in whoever you believe, whatever you believe, ask it. If you believe in infinite intelligence, close your distractors and go, infinite intelligence, I would like to know, okay? Or a great spirit or whatever, okay? But you're that great spirit in here. You're not your body, you're not your name. You're that spirit that lives in here. Yeah, do that. Lebo. Ask, believe, receive. That's the formula. But you have to believe in your asking. Your subconscious has to believe whatever it is you're asking for. Your subconscious has to believe it's possible. How do you convince your subconscious? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, so the affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now that I have a red BMW convertible, thank you. Okay, you write it often enough, your subconscious goes, oh, okay, yeah, we're doing that. Okay, we're going for that. Okay. Then you go down and test drive it. Okay, go down and test drive the car. I did that. Okay, I walked out that day with, my first 2007, my first brand new car. Because why? Because I was conditioned by my parents, who said, you need to buy a good used car. My parents were right in the way that they were telling me you're going to lose a lot of money when you drive it off the lot. Okay? But it was also fear, right? Because I was always looking for a good used car. And guess what happened with the good used cars? They always rebuilt themselves. New carburetor, new radiator, new water pump, new this, new that, right? And when you add up all that money, okay, it's cheaper to buy a maintenance plan with a new car. Never mind about the invisible money that's disappearing when you drive off the lot. Come on, you're bigger than that. You deserve more than that. From 2007 till now, I've had new car smell every day, because I kept, first of all, I bought 4 cars, and then I started leasing. And now I only lease because of my companies, and it makes more sense. That's all. Affirmation, vocalization, visualization. Yep, you got it. Yep, you got it. Okay, so you need to, first of all, the visualization part, you need to, number one, see yourself worthy, okay? You need to feel worthy. The key word is feel. You need to feel worthy. You cannot think worthy and then inside feel like, I don't know, I don't know. You cannot do that, because you're counter manifesting and it will cancel itself out. Okay, you have to believe in yourself. First God, then you. Creator, then you. Infinite intelligence, then you. Whoever you believe is the superconscious. Superconscious, then you. Conscious, subconscious, superconscious. This is God, the superconscious. Okay, I'm just going to use that label, because everybody different people believe differently. I'm not here to offend anybody. But whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, that first, then you. Okay, because it's the macrocosm. You are the microcosm. You are the smaller version of the larger version. You are the smaller unit of energy from the larger unit of energy. you are the smaller spirit from the great spirit. Okay, because you're a spirit in here. And there's a separation between the body and the spirit. This gets old, this will die. Okay, this, right? I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. We do this in Hawaii, we do that. Okay. Only the fact I'm listening to you, I'm so much grateful. Thank you. You're welcome, Didi. You're welcome. I'm grateful you're here. Yeah, give Didi some love, you guys. So, right? This is not a moral thing. I'm not here to say be a good person. If you take this technology, you want to be a bad person, you're going to be a really good bad person. If you take this technology, okay, this knowledge, and you apply it to being a good person, you'll be a really, really good person. But this will bring things to you. Okay? And the only way to bring things to you is through positivity. Can you be negative and bring things? Yeah, you can. But they may not last. You know, you see these guys making illegal money, right? They're doing whatever they're doing, right? Illegal. It could be gambling, it could be drugs, it could be whatever, right? They have a good run, right? A lot of money, make a lot of money, make a lot of money, boom, loss. And that could mean they got busted. That could mean other things. And they lose it in other ways because money doesn't stick. You need to get money to stick to you. In order to get money to stick to you, you need to feel positively about it. And then it keeps coming. Okay, there's two ways to wealth. Okay, number one, okay, and I'm just going to tell you the way I do it. But number one, you can be the squirrel or the crab. The crab grabs everything. The crab lives in lack. The crab grabs everything and pulls it in the hole for himself. Okay? Crabs don't give, they take. They're scavengers. Okay? You can be the scavenger. Grab as much as you can for yourself and put it in your hole. Okay? You can be the squirrel. Take all the nuts and put it in your tree. Okay? And store it, stack it up, right? Put it in the bank. Okay? And you can live a meager existence. You know, maybe the cheapest clothes, the cheapest car, the cheapest this, the cheapest that, the cheapest everything. And then you leave your kids a fortune. Or maybe you leave it to your cat, whatever. Okay? That's one way to accumulate wealth. What's the other way? Well, you can stay close to God, or higher self, or Allah, or Jesus Christ, or your creator. Okay, and you can use this technology. What does this do? Well, it starts attracting money. Why? Because when you get rid of the negative stuff, okay, and I'm talking about the things that plague you. I'm talking about anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, negative emotions. When you get rid of that, okay, and you can get rid of all of that and still be a bad person, okay? So if you're a bad person watching me and you go, oh man, I can't do this anymore. No, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying you can't feel like this. Okay? So in other words, if you're doing something negative, you can't feel guilty about it. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just being honest. Because bad people get rich, good people get rich. Okay? Bad people attract wealth, good people attract wealth. It's not just the bad people that get ahead in life. That's a fear-based thought. That's a lack-minded thought. You need to be happy when you see people succeed. You need to be happy when you see people get a new grill or whatever on social media. Be happy for them. Okay? The real test is when you can see somebody getting ahead in life and you're happy for them. You go, oh, wow, yeah, right on. And be sincere about it. I mean, be for real about it. Okay? Be for real about it. Then it comes to you. It starts to stick to you. When you do it this way, when you stay, you know, the old expression is, draw nigh to God, and God will draw nigh unto you. Which means, stay close to God, and God will stay close to you. Get close to God, okay, and God will stay close to you. And then whenever you need money, guess what? It shows up. And that's what I do. Whenever I need money, I'm patient, okay? But I have a deal with God. And my deal is to do as much as I can to get people as far as I can get them. And you can research me and find it. Because in both of my companies, well, both of the companies that I have reviews for, well, yeah, in my consulting company, I have a couple of reviews for that, but we don't seek reviews for that. We don't have people review us for that. Feeling worthy. Okay, so the first, it's a bit of a challenge for you. Okay, Libo. So first, you have to accept this one. Okay, in order to accept this one, however you believe, if you believe in God, say prayers. Okay, so you can get close to your Creator. Okay, say prayers. Also, do your meditation. Sit still for 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes. You don't need more than 10 minutes a day. Thank you, Tumi. Tumi said that's beautiful. You don't need more than 10 minutes a day, okay? But do that because you need to sit with this one without distraction, because your distraction into other things is the biggest reason why you don't feel worthy, because you see other people with, new girls and new boats and new this and new that, and pretty soon you start going, something must be wrong with me. I don't have all of that. Something must be wrong with me. I don't have a wife. Something must be wrong with me. I don't have kids. Something must be wrong. You see? Okay? There you go. And join us tomorrow. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. Okay, so we're talking about, negative language, negative thinking today, mostly limiting language. Okay, so victim-based language. Okay, avoidant language. Sorry, I didn't do this one. Avoidant language. I'll wait and see what happens. Passive avoidant language. What does that mean? It means you're avoiding stuff. Okay. That's negative. Okay. Just say, I'll take the next aligned action and adjust as needed. Okay. I'll take action on this and I'll adjust it as I go. Or I'll just go about this thing and adjust as I go. Okay. Victim-based language. The universe hasn't given me my break yet. Okay. Well, I don't get any breaks. That kind of thing, right? I co-create my results through inspired action. There you go. Oh, Libo is your best friend? She's been attending since I shared your life. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tumi. Yeah, start to feel good about yourself, but don't compare yourself to others. You have your own blessings. You have your own life path, and your life path unfolds from within. Okay? And as long as you get rid of the negative emotions, doubt, guilt, fear, those things, shame, all of that, when you start to resolve those things and you resolve them through prayer and meditation, when you resolve those things, you start feeling better about yourself. You start seeing your natural abilities and how they benefit others and how you're valuable to others. Then you start raising your own opinion of yourself, because we observe ourselves, Libo. Okay, and because we observe ourselves, we have opinions, right? And we're not happy with some of our actions, and we form opinions about ourselves that are negative. So yeah, try that. Okay, and join us tomorrow too. Okay, so absolute language. Okay, I always get distracted. I always screw up. I always drop the ball. I always whatever. Okay, absolute language. Always and never. I never do this. I never get this completed. I never follow through on this. I never. Okay? Absolute language. How do you do that? I'm improving my focus every day. I'm improving my focus. Okay? Maybe you're not 100% today. Don't focus on what's going wrong. Focus on what's going right. So I had this guy. I'll tell you this fast story before we go, because we got to go pretty soon, in about 3 minutes. So here we go. Okay, so this guy stood in my office. So I had this office for 24 years in a place called Kalihi, and this is over here in Hawaii. And this guy stood in the middle of my office. He was my life coaching client. And he said, I need to know what I'm doing wrong. And I said, why? He said, so I can fix it. I said, that's not how you fix what's going wrong. And he said, what? And I said, yeah. You focus on what's going right and you grow what's going right, and eventually what's going wrong will start to fade. So here's how it works, okay? Positive, negative, 50 percentile in the middle, okay? So all you have to do to change your life is go here, 51%. Now the majority of your life is positive, okay? Over here, 49% negative. Okay, what happens when you're 51% positive? Well, the majority is good, right? And good builds because your focus is good. Whatever you focus on intensifies. Now you go over here, now you're 52, 55%. Okay, and it starts to grow on its own. Why? Because your subconscious is actively growing positivity. It's actually engaged in positivity that's going to grow because your focus is on positivity. That's all. Okay, so pray, meditate, focus. Okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, all aimed at whatever is positive in your life or whatever you want to be positive in your life. If it's money, okay, you can focus on money. Okay, but just focus on things you love and people you love. The money will come automatic. Money is an energy. You are such a blessing. Thank you. I will definitely bring you. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. So anyway, okay, um, we have to kind of wind down, but positivity grows, goodness grows, negativity grows. Okay, you make the choice. Okay, God is the manufacturer of the Ferrari. Okay, God manufactures this. This is a Ferrari. You are a Ferrari. You're that advanced as a human, okay, compared to other beings, compared to animals, okay? So God designs the Ferrari. God manufactures the Ferrari and he goes, okay, here's your Ferrari. Now, you are the driver, okay? That's how it works. Okay, so you can't blame God. God gave you everything, okay? All you have to do is judgment, okay? Good judgment. Make good choices. The roots of the tree, subconscious, okay? These are your beliefs. The beliefs form the paradigm, your attitude, the way you see the world. This forms your actions. Up here, the fruits of the tree, you will know them by their fruits. Now, the fruits turn into what? Their actions, right? They turn into results. There you go. How do you focus on money without overworking? Here, here. You focus on money here. Okay. You start writing it down. Richard, yes, Richard. You're absolutely correct, Richard. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so you focus on money here. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes easily, plentifully, and quickly. Thank you. There you go. You have a good way of explaining. Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Okay, so there you go. Stay close to God. Stay close to your spirit in here. Okay, and whatever you believe, however you believe, and stay close to that. That's your divine guidance. Okay, however you believe. And that will get you through the worst of times and it will create the best of times. Okay, I'm Junior, and we want to disconnect from our internet.